You just tuned in to Up for Discussion.
It's go time, man.
What's up? What's up? We're here at Ultra Products for Up for Discussion this evening. This evening we have special guest Clint Harvey, and Lathan's with us as well. So.
Yeah, not so special, I guess, huh?
So we're going to have some fun this evening. This evening's podcast is called Having a Strong Gown. Golly, what is the deal?
You've had a big day.
I ate a bunch of chocolate right before this, so it's possible I'm keyed up. But having a strong ground game. So we're going to be talking about that, and I'm sure that these two guys have both got some really good stories in relation to ground hunting, and I'm excited just to sit back and listen to them for the most part. So
ground hunting.
How you guys feel about that?
Sounds
you guys
good.
Think you can take the lead?
I'm sure we can.
I'm sure you can as well. So
what's the definition of a strong ground game? I'd say it starts with you have to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
most people don't do it.
20 years ago, people used to ask me if I was scared of the heights when I was on my ground. I was hunting with a ghillie suit. They'd look at me and ask me if I was scared of heights.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a reason you're not getting in a tree stand. I mean, tree stands became culturally like, this is what you do.
This is the norm.
Right.
So what started you? I guess we'll just dive into it. You got any other announcements you need to make?
I think we're good.
Because you're pretty much just strictly on the ground now, right?
Nah, probably 80-20. I've been to stand 5 or 6 times this year. I like seeing the world from a tree still. I mean,
right.
Being able to see the distance and all of that.
What pushed you then to be like
2009?
I got it down to the date.
Yeah. You'll know why
October 23rd.
About then.
Yeah.
I realized I was hunting a deer. I had a buddy come back from college and he wanted to find a giant and just hunt it. And we found what I thought was a 200-inch typical 12, the biggest deer I've ever hunted. And this deer was in what I call an interior field. It's a field that's completely surrounded by trees, and it was about 20 acres. Bean field. Hunted this deer the first 2 weeks of the season. Make a long story short, he would stand up out of the beans, walk about 20 yards eating. I mean, he'd do it broad daylight, an hour and a half before dark, lay back down, go back out through there, get up, eat, lay back down. Hunted the deer for 2 or 3 weeks like that before he made a transition. Never went near a tree. Seen him every day.
Yeah.
And I thought there has to be a better way to do this. I mean, you can't
sit on the edge.
Right. If he doesn't come near a tree, what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just
tree.
Out of
So
what?
if that's the case, though, where was he at? Was he just betting in
He was just betting.
Field?
No, he's betting in standing beans.
Oh, in standing beans. All right.
Yeah, he was just betting in standing beans. And then at that time, there was a guy. And this guy was the next big thing in deer hunting. He was the berries. Like, he was killing net Boone and Crockett typicals quicker than I could probably kill yearlings. It's just like every time he went in the woods, another net Boone and Crockett deer.
Right.
And he was doing it out of a ghillie suit. Now, I had some contact with the guy, and I would, send him emails and what do you think here, or see him at a show and be like, how do you do this? How does this work? Because I wanted to do something different, at least have a different tool in my toolbox so this would work.
Sure.
Now, in full disclosure, the guy was very discredited by many people at the end. Like, he vanished, like your conspiracy thing you had last weekend.
Yeah.
He would be in that group.
He would be right there in that group. And
I think I realize now who you're talking about.
Right.
He had his own ghillie suit line.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I mean, there was things that he would tell me with advice that I was like, wait a minute. Now, he told me, I asked him, because I'm more concerned, like, if you're killing big bucks all the time, how are you finding them? I don't care how you're doing it. I can do it. I want to know how you're finding them.
Yeah.
Like, how are you finding net booner after net booner after net booner? So I asked him that one time. You know what he told me? Well, I call it the 200-yard rule. 200 yards from food, water, and cover.
So basically anywhere.
Earth. Right. Like, when I was swimming in Florida over the summer, I had that down.
Right.
and you start realizing they need to probably explain that a little better. And
Sure.
like his net booners were like 173 gross, 171 net, which is like all of them were that even. Like what ended up getting the accusations made against him was he killed at 193 gross, 190 net. That actually beat a deer chase Curd from Wayne County. Good shot.
Now you said that, and I didn't realize that. Like, how big was Chase Curd's?
I don't know. I'm wanting to say 180-ish typical net. And to go through this, like people use the term gross booner, and I don't care what you call a deer, right? But there's 20 gross booners for every net booner there is out there, probably.
Yeah.
Like
everybody hates on the net, but I kind of like the net.
I don't mind. Like I don't like scoring much anymore, really, because like I am a state scorer, and when you score for deer, it's almost like you've watched someone's child get kidnapped. Like they are over there super sad at the end of it. And you've never seen anybody that's just super happy when
they have expectations of what that deer is, and that never pans out.
I had a buddy who had a guy, like he killed one and he was saying it was 215, and by the pictures, and I tried to do a little bit of outdoor riding, not much, but I was gonna try to write for that. And we get to the Illinois Classic where I was going to talk to him, and I see a sticker plate under here at 162, I think. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get away from this guy, you know. I can't ride on a 162. And this guy, he walks up and sees the 162, and I think he was wanting to fight the scorer or something. Like he was furious.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then I heard the famous statement, my taxidermist said.
Yeah.
A lot of them use that in the scoring.
Yeah. I see so many pictures and people posting their score, and I'm like, I'm either off, and I could ultimately I'm to the place I could really care. I totally care less about the score. I really kind of always have cared less. My mindset, you still use that as a reference because, you know, like, so I missed one with my recurve the other day. Go ahead and broadcast that out here. And
me too.
Everybody wants to know how big he was.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he's a 130 some inch 8-pointer. Now that's very relative because he's probably 19 inches wide. Really nice G2s, not nothing freakazoid, but you know, 10 and a half, 11 inch G2 on at least one side. His three's really weak. I remember seeing some weak threes and brow tines that weren't very big. And I don't know if it's
I
a
think
9
all
or
that
8.
score, it ought to be based on how far can you drag him in 100 yards.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a 15-minute deer.
Yeah, we could change it. Maybe we could start a new standard.
Yeah.
But to see that deer coming, he's a very nice big buck, but he ain't gonna score squat.
Would you have shot at him with a compound?
I weighed that out, and I probably maybe would have, because I'm really more after maturity than numbers. That's kind of been my standard the last 2 or 3 years. I've just been like, I haven't killed hardly any deer the last 2 or 3 years, but I've gotten really good at holding my arrow. When used to, I could get caught up in the moment and shoot one. And and I don't care. I always make this announcement because I don't want people to listen to this and be like, well, maybe I shouldn't shoot a 3.5. I don't care. Shoot a 3.5 year. I don't care what you want to shoot. I think we said this last time you were on the podcast a little bit. I don't care. I'm just saying for me, I'm trying to set this standard. You know,
I mean, deer hunting's not about your own your ego with other people. This is me in a contest with this deer.
It definitely is.
It shouldn't be. Yes, because I try to keep myself out of that.
I mean, I'm going to ruin some egos right now.
Let's do it. Let's just do it.
If you get a chance to hunt the core of a mature buck, and it doesn't matter if it's 160, 190, and you know where its core is at, you got a very good chance of getting it with just basic hunting the wind, hunting stuff. Like there's a 200 living in the 40 that you're at. You've got there's days.
So why do you say that though? Because there's a lot of guys that have watched them all summer long. They feel like they know where they're at. but they would look at that and be like, how is that the case?
Well, the deer transition, like like a buck goes from low doe density in the summer to high doe density during the rut.
Yeah.
And I have killed a lot of deer early season, and I have had to backtrack from where this deer was a 4-year-old last year to where he's, a 5-year-old the following summer. And I've had to backtrack, and it's usually 3/4 of a mile to 1.5 miles away to where the deer's at in the summertime. So a mature buck does not want to mess with a bunch of does. They don't like the timing of all the yearlings running around and all of that. And they also like getting out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of farm fields, because there's not people out there. There's not people, and dogs can't come out there and chase them and things like that. Like they are by themselves because people aren't out there getting turkey mites on them in July. And
I would say that the older I get, the more I feel that way.
Right.
The less I want to be around as many people.
Right. Just throw me in the basement and I'm good. Yeah.
My circle's getting smaller.
You're right.
Well, so what was the statement that ruined guys' egos?
Well, it's more about having access to the big buck than it is about.
That's what I'd say.
There's a lot of guys out here, and most of them are in the industry that you see that want to make it seem like they're solving a Rubik's Cube in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
When actually they're just able to find big bucks all the time.
Or they pay for them.
Yeah. Right. But
which is fairly customary.
It's not rocket science if you've got the deer on your property. There are hunting tactics in which you can run your deer off. Like deer hunting is not a subsport of motocross.
Right.
So, if you're getting your 4-wheeler driving around in your woods all the time, you probably have hurt yourself.
You could booger that deer, make him want to live someplace else.
I could go into stories, but I've seen examples of, like, I was hunting 175 last year, and then that got into the bedding, and then he did the move over.
Yeah.
Like 400 yards out in the middle of the field and stayed there with all the does because the does got pushed out with him. And he stayed there the rest of the year.
One of the biggest things is just being able, to be in a place where one is.
Right.
If
there's not a 200 that's living.
I totally agree with what you said. It's just, I try to always keep the wind best I can. I'm to the place anymore.
What percentage of the hunters do you think play the wind, though? I know
they all talk about it, but I know a lot of people that backslide on it, I'd say, because they so want to go to a spot.
Yeah.
And then there's a huge number of people, and I have done this and had this mindset that they just forget the wind when the rut comes in. Kind of a poet and didn't know it there.
Do you see
because they're
people
like, they're going from every direction. So, there's truth to that, but they also just have natural corridors. If you don't pay attention to some degree, it's going to booger you. Eventually.
Right.
And you can play the wind to the tee and still get boogered. A deer goes.
Oh yeah, deer. It's not.
They walk wherever they want to walk.
Yeah.
But
Jared Spoor says he thinks 10%.
10% what?
10% hunt the wind. I think it's probably more than that, but
I think
probably not much
I think
more.
A bunch of people talk it and have good intentions, but I think when it comes down to it, they go to the place. They go, just spray down.
Yeah,
right. And I
throw the ozonics up.
I like scent control. I'm not sure about ozonics or not. Never worked with it much, but scent control may be able to make you smell like you were there 2 hours ago or 3 hours ago, but it's not going to beat a deer.
Let me ask you this. You're a guy that hunts specific deer.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you think your scent stays in the woods?
Okay. I'm wondering if they can't smell me shed season. We lose 500 million skin cells every day.
You think it stays around that long?
I think I don't know if it spooks them in any way, but you can find dogs out there that can find dead bodies or whatever 6 months away. I don't think that it might spook them. I wonder. I didn't say I think.
Yeah.
I wonder. Like I know they can for days.
Yeah.
I mean, there's weird phenomenon out there in there because yesterday morning I set one of my favorite spots, my first set of the year. I've just not even touched it. I've watched people pound all around it. I was like, just let them pound and bump those deer. I'm going to stay out of there. And I'm not going till the wind is perfect. And I went yesterday morning, seen probably 10 bucks. Only one of them is one that I wanted to shoot, some great up and comers. I was like, man, every time I turn around, another buck. And I finally seen one that I would shoot. I think I'd shoot him with the compound too. I had my recurve, but and crazy enough, if I seen, it was 9 or 10 bucks come through there. Some, just yearly knuckleheads, 2 or 3 of those, 2 really great 2-year-olds and maybe 1 3-year-old. And then that good buck. And out of all those bucks, every one of them gave me a recurve shot except for the
one you want.
the mature buck.
And I was thinking about that the other day, because how many times could you have shot every deer but the one you want? And
I was like, every one of those deer gave me, and he was following these 2 young bucks, like 2-year-olds, really good 2-year-olds, and they're almost in my shooting, like 15 yards. I was like, I'm going to get another shot today, 2 days in a row. And he stopped and stood, and I almost like, does he see me? Has he seen me? Well, then he snore-wheezed and turned and went back. So I was like, that tells me there was something going on back there. He either had him a girlfriend already, and he was walking these 2 bucks off, and he wheezed and went back. So I was like, well, he wasn't spooked at me, or wouldn't probably be snore wheezing. Yeah. And he turned like, I'm going back to something.
He was still doing deer stuff.
Yeah, he wasn't in spook mode, but
yeah.
Anyway, where was I going with that? The first time I hunted it, and I hunted it with the right wind, and what I was getting ready to say was, I'm hunting next to the river. I only hunt it with the south. I can do some southwest and southeast. It just, I can do it because I'm on the point of the river, and my scent goes down the river to the southwest or down the river to the southeast. South is perfect, straight head up south. Well, I'm 30 yards from the river. Inevitably, every once in a while, deer get between me and the river if I'm not going to shoot them, if it's a deer that I'm not wanting to shoot. Well, I had 4 of those bucks go in between me and the river, and none of them. And I'm sitting there with the pants that I worked in the day before. These pants, I was building a building, worked in these pants, went out there, no scent control, just hunting the wind right. The thermals or something was different. Now, one of them stopped, and I seen him pick his nose up, and he was like, didn't like that for a second. And then he just relaxed and went on.
When I was hunting
explain that. How come? And there was a good prevailing breeze yesterday morning. Now, I know sometimes in the morning, I try to take mental notes when I'm hunting of a morning, and it's one of those mornings, it's like, the whole woods hears it, it's so quiet in the woods. If there's any frost, soon as the ground starts warming, deer have a hard time smelling me. I know that just through the years of hunting, because I think the ground's warming up. There's no prevailing wind to speak of. I mean, there is, but it's so slight, it ain't driving any of your scent down. It's just naturally going up with the thermals, and they can't smell you. But yesterday, I was like, if they go downwind of me today, because you can feel the breeze on you. I was like, they're going to bust me, and not one of them busted me.
I've got to think that the things that deer are smelling are not like the things that a lot of times we try and cover up.
I think that's exactly.
Well, they say science says about 80% of your scent comes from your breath, but that the deer smell.
I disagree that they bothered my breath.
I don't think it's your breath either. That's my opinion.
What science says, if you want to be a scent control freak, turn vegetarian.
I would say there's chance
I could see that
right.
because you're not putting off a carnivore smell.
Yeah.
And that's also the fact with urine, by the way, because urine metabolizes into the ammonia and no time flat. So with urine, they may be able to smell if it's a predator urine or not within the ammonia because of proteins that are given off.
So and you've watched enough that I pee in every scrape that I see. I'm like, hey, there's another one I'll pee in it.
Just to be contrary.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I just peed 10 minutes ago, but here's another one. So
okay.
and I put cameras on a lot of scrapes.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I can pee in one, and in
Right.
10 minutes, I'll have one cleaning it
Right.
up. Like, so I don't think it's freaking them out.
No.
But like one day I peed in one, and I drank so much coffee that I was like, that smells completely like coffee, but I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't an
There's
hour.
a lot of people that do that, and
Yeah.
it's not a problem, and that's what science says is pee is ammonia in minutes after it leaves the body.
Yeah.
So I guess my thing is, what is it that they're smelling? Is it just something that's different that alarms them, or is it a specific smell? Because I have a hard time thinking it's a specific smell.
I have
because
a hard
Clint,
time.
You smell different than what Lathan smells. You guys smell different than what I smell. Like, I guarantee, because
well, to some degree, but some of that's just because of our lifestyle, our house. You know how your grandma's house had smell your
smoke,
house.
or right? Yeah.
But I mean,
that
the
being the
human
case,
in us probably somewhat smells the same, because I've smelled your BO and I've smelled Joe Blow's BO, and I'm like, smells like BO.
Right.
Well,
but I mean,
they're
not like us with their nose though. Like I think I mentioned this last time. Like, it's like they don't just smell chili; they smell your peppers and your onions and your.
They can differentiate.
Oh, and it's not even close. Like, a deer's, like, when you get to the next level of using the wind, you're hunting stands in which the deer ought to be moving in that direction, such as downwind sides of bedding or downwind of the does. Like, I've got one setup that's probably our best one, and I call it a swing by. And imagine a field shaped like this with a wind from west to me. And you've got your does out here in the morning. And you've got a big herd of does, about 30, and you've got a dominant buck that thinks that these are his does, like 5-year-old plus, and they are his does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anything that gets out in the field with him all night, he's
right.
all
He can
over
run
it.
them off.
Yes, and he is basically Brockwell Lesnar of deer. This one I'm thinking about was 280 pounds. And when they come back, we require, and these are all off the ground, we require a south wind in the first 2 weeks of November to hunt this. In the morning. It doesn't work in the evening. In the morning. In the evening, if there's a different wind, he would just walk back into the woods. But in the morning, he's going to circle around, walk the downwind side of the does that are still out there feeding, because we know that the first buck back to the bedding is usually your mature buck when he's leaving those does.
Yeah.
And he will come back, circle downwind one more time, and swing right by your field edge to let you get him. I think we've killed 4 or 5 in this setup. I shot that 280 pound at 6 yards from the ground. 17 pointer. So 7.5-year-old deer.
Well, that river stand of mine is so good with the south wind. I've watched. This is what happens.
Is south wind blowing it at the river?
Blowing it across the river.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's because they're
and
walking
they follow
that river
the river.
Yeah.
To scent check that whole woods.
Now, see,
I've watched it a dozen times. They'll come right up the river, and I'm at the point.
Right.
And it's real brushy at the point, so they flare off the point, so I can generally keep them upwind of me.
That is what I call a river run setup, and that's one of my very best ones. I've got 2 versions of it. I've seen you guys hunt a lot of river runs, right?
Sure, we hunt a lot of rivers.
Like, that river run right on it. That's what they do. You want the wind blowing back at the river.
Across the river.
Now, the only way better than what he's talking about is if you can cross the river, not booger up anything on this side, and then have it coming back to the river.
Well, this one works well because I've literally, if the water's right, I can drop off. And I don't have to walk the woods. I have to follow the river in, but I drop off and I walk down by the water,
right,
and then just climb up the bank and get in my stand. You know, and
I've got you both beat. I've got a spot that
I
has
know
a road that
seen
drops off right next to the river. I hop out and I climb the tree.
Yeah.
Like, I can see my truck and I can shoot
You're
deer.
sitting right above your truck almost, ain't you?
Yep.
Because I've seen that spot. It drops off in a hole and you can park the truck.
And the wind carries it right to the other.
I like river runs because that whole like a buck and a core thing doesn't apply so well in the bottom because there's a lower doe population, so they have to explore more. I've never really seen bottoms ground that has a ton except over there around the Curve Lane City. They're just goodness. Like, I'm going to dodge them on the way home, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But there's a lower doe population, generally speaking, in the bottoms that I've discovered, as opposed to hills.
That's an interesting thought.
And, well, it needs to be a floodplain bottoms for that. I mean, that's not really a floodplain there.
Yeah.
But, the deer are used to coming back up on the hills because their acorns wash away with the first flood and so forth, and all that's plowed too, usually at the bottoms.
Yeah.
So they do have a bigger core down there and have to explore more for doe. So river runs, it's kind of like the grab bag of deer hunting.
Mm-hmm. I like sitting next to a river. I like my scent to blow across the river, and I like to have a big timber or brush or something out there, and them bucks walk the river. You know what they're doing. They're smelling everybody that's in that, and he walks the river and he's like, oh, I smell something that smells like I need to go check it out.
Right.
And then he can go check it out.
And that's what I'm talking about as far as they use their nose to find the does.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though.
Yet, are we?
We haven't. We've not talked really much about being on the ground.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of river hunting.
Years.
Sometimes that means that we're hunting with a decoy, and Lathan uses a mobile decoy that he carries along with him. Do you do anything like that?
I used to use a decoy some, and I liked it. Have you found that the problem with them is if they've got a doe with them, they won't come in?
We've roped them right off of a doe a couple.
We have, yeah.
I had the only one I've killed on a decoy stood there like a yard ornament, like he did not want to come over to my buck decoy.
Yeah.
And he stood there. It's the furthest shot I've ever made, maybe 45, 50. And I was shooting all the time back then, but he could only stand there so long, like a lawn ornament, where I'd calculate everything out and do that. But
Lathan, what he does too is a little different, because with that mobile decoy, he pushes in on them. So if they're not coming, he closes it.
Yeah.
And
is that kind of like the antelope stuff? Is that what I'm trying to picture?
Very similar.
And I just stick it when I get in a certain range. I've got it where I can just stick it in the ground. I set right behind it, use it as a blind.
Okay. What do they think of that?
Oh, I've shot them right over the top of it several times.
Have you?
Yeah.
There's decoys is one of them things. Like I said earlier, I don't want to think the thing I'm pursuing is super stupid.
Yeah.
Decoys make them look pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Like I've had deer come back and like, why aren't you following me? Come on.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that? Like where you get like a 4-pointer or something, like you're my bigger buddy. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever me and JD Hewitt sat in the twilight morning, I mean, it just wasn't light enough to shoot, and watched a 3-year-old. I think it was a 3-year-old. I'm looking at him through my binocs, and JD's like, is it one that I want to shoot? I was like, it's a nice buck, but it's, I don't know what you want. What do you want to shoot? And he's like, well, I want to shoot a mature one. I was like, I think he's a 3-year-old. We were down there at Doug's.
Yeah.
And this buck is in the twilight dark. Like, you know how with your good binocs, you can look through the darkness. I'm like, it's a decent buck. 20 yards from us. We got the decoy set up out on the field, rubbing his horns up and down the neck of the decoy. Like pushing on the decoy.
And that's one of the reasons I
sounds
stopped
like rubber.
Yeah. And it's a rubber Dave Smith decoy. And I'm like, and JD's skeptical of the decoy, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if I sat there, I'd put the decoy out, because one thing a decoy would do, he'll take one of those hunts that you tell everybody about. Well, I seen him. He crossed over and went in that corner. It'll take that hunt and say, I seen him. I got him to look at the decoy, and he whirled and come to check the decoy out, and I got him. It takes a 150, 200-yard story and turns it into a 20 or 30-yard story and maybe a kill.
Yeah.
It's a better I mean, I would think it would be really cool to see kill a deer over a decoy on the ground. I mean, I think that show would be cool. I mean,
yeah.
So whenever I'm decoying, I do a little bit different than what probably most guys do, because I sit in a big bottoms area. I mean, one spot that I love to hunt, it's a little 30-acre patch, and I sit right basically on the peninsula of it, to where I'm overseeing like 400 yards all the way around me. And I set him out on the peninsula, and I just glass the whole time. And I mean, I wait until one comes out, and I'm like, nope, I'm not interested in him. Then I glass over here. Nope, I'm not interested in him. And finally, I'll see one that comes out. And as soon as he comes out and I'm like, yeah, I'm interested, that's when I'll lightly rattle or I'll grunt at him until he sees that thing. And once he does, it's on. Like, he comes right to it. I posted that video the other day. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Like, that was not the deer that I was after. I was after an 8-pointer with a drop tine that was about 40 yards behind that one. But for that one, it worked. You
Yeah.
know, the 8-pointer was gonna come in, I think, but once that one came in, it kind of jacked things up a little bit. So
I'm more like, I think everyone has little different things they want to do with hunting, and I want to be able to get a kill shot. Let me put it this way: a 30-yard encounter on a specific buck within a week.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to work on, is as quick as I can get that specific encounter.
I think that's a cool endeavor, like, because that's not what most guys are doing. Most guys are looking for, you know, basically like a Halloween where you just walk up to the door and you're like, give me what you got, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of guys are looking for. I want an almond joy. I don't want the junk candy. Like, I want something good, you know?
Well, I kind of collect them like baseball cards. I've got 6 drop tines, which is pretty cool. I've got a cactus
You got
bug.
6 drop tines? That's awesome.
Yeah, the one I missed had one too. But anyway,
I've got one that's got a really weird, I don't know, we called him Big Ugly.
Yeah, it's got like a rosebud or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always liked that righty deer you've got out there.
Yeah,
he's cool.
Yep.
He is neat.
We watched him a long time.
I have been down the road of hunting actual specific deer. I mean, we've done that together.
Sure.
I mean, Righty was one of them.
Yeah, that dagger buck was one of them too.
Yeah. I mean, we've, set our paces. I've kind of left that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more just, I want to hunt right, and just when the right one comes, my heart will say that's the one, and shoot it. I mean,
I think it's cool though that there's totally different opinions, and
it's all schematics. It's what you enjoy, and it's what I enjoy.
Because there's a 200 incher out there.
Yeah.
That I was so blessed and fortunate to shoot. And you know how many people ask me how long I've been hunting, and you know what my answer was?
Yeah, about that time you seen him?
Since about 2:30 that day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's when I got in the stand, about 2:30,
Mm-hmm.
quarter to 3, somewhere in there. He's like, how long you been hunting that deer? I was like, about 2:30.
But it's very fortunate to have a 200
yeah,
just walk upon you that you don't know about in today's world.
Yes.
Like, you know how hard I look for one of them on properties? I find one a decade looking.
So I don't even hardly look for them anymore.
I mean, that deer may have been the biggest deer walking in Wayne County that just randomly walked by you without you looking for him.
Yeah, he is a big deer. I mean, and I knew it when I shot him, but I didn't. When you kill a really big one, you don't realize, unless I didn't, because I didn't have pictures of him, because I didn't have cameras out and all that stuff. Now, some people know the actual deer. They've got 300 pictures of him. They can almost tell you the score of him because they've got a picture from the side, the right side, the left side, the front, quarter and away, quarter and that, and they got pictures going away, and they can tell you this deer is about this. If they're being honest with themselves, they know about what it is. And then when they kill it and they finally got him, when I shot that deer, all I know is I was like, that was a big deer.
So is any of this what you're doing, like reverting back to how things used to be?
I hope so. That's
like, you're just like, I remember how much fun it was before I got
yes.
Doug just sent me some pictures. Check this one out.
They get that one tonight?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
At Doug's?
I don't think it was one of Doug's guys.
Yeah. That's a nice buck.
Yeah. That is a dandy. He's very symmetric.
Yeah. Symmetry.
So you will go after them on the ground, am I right?
Yes.
Do you go after most of them, or do you sit there as a stand type thing?
I used to gear most when the rut gets really heavy. We used to gear a lot of our sets to like, could kill him here, but there's a real good chance I won't kill him here. But there's near 100% chance I'm going to see him and know where he's laying with the doe, where he's hiding with the doe. And then from then, if he lays in the right spot, I'm going to sneak up on him.
I had one last year, and I thought of you guys on that. Let me tell you the scenario.
Thanks for thinking of us.
121 yards away in the woods, I'm sitting on one side of a ditch, and this ditch is deep. This ditch kind of comes around, and he's on the other side of the ditch up here, and I can get in this ditch pretty easy.
Yeah.
I'm not a long-distance shooter, about 30. This is a deer. I've only hunted 3 of them in my life, and they're like they've had a hard bone injury,
Mhm.
so they have no dominance.
Yeah.
They have a very tiny core, about 75 square yards. Because if they step out of that, something will stomp him because he can't fight back.
Right.
But they still can live years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched this deer last year for 8 hours and 45 minutes altogether during the season. He wouldn't stand up. And that's the one I hunted last year. I could not get him to stand up. I knew
dude, I would have went after
at
him.
the end of the year, I knew he was dying slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd been that way. His rack was all messed up. Like I could tell it was a past injury. And I watched him, this is after this, I watched him fall off a ditch bank and lay there the rest of the night.
No kidding.
No kidding.
So
Here's
my question though. Why wouldn't you go after him?
Because I had this level of certainty at this point. This was like 2 hunts in, and I'm like, could I get in this ditch and go after him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I could get him.
You have to be willing to mess it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where most guys won't do it. That's why guys won't hunt on the ground. That's
Mm-hmm.
why guys won't go after a deer. I'm not saying everybody. Obviously, there's guys out there, but a lot of guys like, oh, what if I mess him up? I'll never see him again, and they're afraid that they're going to mess that deer up and ruin their chances tomorrow.
I think I have.
And I'm like, let's not borrow. What's the Bible say? Let's not borrow trouble from tomorrow. Let's kill him today. Let's kill him today because we may never see this deer again.
I think I have confidence that I will get within 30 of him, though, eventually. Like if I see him out there at 75, 80, 100, I think that's part for me. I'm not saying anything else. That's part of me winning. Is predicting where he will be and getting within 30 yards of that.
That's your niche.
That's what I want to see happen. Also, I hunt a lot of friends' property and stuff, and I don't want to push the deer off on them either.
Yeah, that's
you've also got to look out for other people. So a lot of our differences, and I think a lot of our differences is probably in setups and archery ability too.
Yeah, I've never had. I don't know if I've ever had. I've hunted a few places with you, your in-laws, things like that. That was, more like we're the ones hunting that.
Yeah.
But I get thinking through the years, I don't know if I've had places. I got maybe one right now, but it's like, I know that I'm the only one, or me and Wes are the only one hunting that.
Right.
I mean, I've always hunted places. It's like all the neighbors are hunting it, and that's okay. That's just the way it is.
Sure.
So I've always had to sort through. I've always had to measure a lot of the way I hunt with, like, if I don't try to get him today,
if you're out there in that environment, I can definitely see
somebody is going to
get him tomorrow.
Get him, and that's great for them. Or somebody's going to bump him or push him real hard.
Right.
It's the same. I have had the same frame of mind. You know how the evening before gun season, your mind swims. It's like if you see a good one that day before gun season, you're like, I got to do something now because gun season's tomorrow.
Well, I had a big one's bedding figured out. I went out there the next day one time, and the farmer was burning the bedding.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's things like that that's always going to happen.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a seize the moment type.
Right.
Now, that being said, there's plenty of deer I've watched.
But that's probably a cool thing, though, to go out there and make that happen, because there's very few people making it happen on the ground with a bow too.
What I was going to say was that's true, and there's plenty of big deer that's bedded with does or bedded somewhere that we didn't, because it's like, well, I'm not going to be stupid. He's bedded in a place there's no way.
Yeah, the wind's not right.
Yeah, he just picks a spot that there's no access to even get remotely close without boogering him, and it's like, you got to weigh it out then. It's like, well, I'm not going to do it. But man, if he lays down and there's a hump or a bump or a bush or a roll, if there's something where like we can plan it out, we can get here, the wind's going to work, it's breezy, he's not going to hear us.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's some video footage of Wes. It didn't turn out. But it's one of the coolest things you ever watch is him crawling up on that buck that day we bedded him down.
Yeah.
And I just stayed back and videoed that. I could just see the rack, and I see Wes getting closer. And you know how video looks when someone stays back, and everyone's like, how come he's not shooting? Well, it's because he's 80 yards. You know what I mean? But the video makes it look like you're 20 yards from him.
Right.
So just imagine what the video makes it look like when you're actually about 15 yards from him.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, won't you just reach out and grab him?
I couldn't get him to stand up. I mean, before it was all said and done, I was like,
Hollering at
hey,
him.
yeah, I was
Hey, you
yelling at
buck!
him.
You know,
Right.
and he finally stands
And finally, I still don't think he was fully aware of what was going on,
up. No.
because he stood up and you could tell he was stretching, and it was like he looked at me, but it was basically too late.
Yeah.
I just made a poor
Did he give
shot.
you that look like, oh no, this is a bad day? I've seen that one once.
I don't think he gave you that look.
No,
You've seen it?
I think-
Have you seen it? Like,
Yeah.
oh my, this is
Yeah.
not how I wanted today to go.
I think he thought, oh, that's a
There-
deer.
yeah, I'm gonna stomp a hole in him.
I think.
Oh,
he
you
thought
were behind the decoy?
No, there was
No,
no decoy.
But he's just all wadded
Oh,
up,
okay.
and there's just a
Yeah.
little bit of him stuck out of some weedy type stuff. And I just think he thought you was a deer.
Right. I did.
Now, if he would have looked at you long enough, he'd been like, wait a minute, something's not right.
my favorite footage is the one that I shot coming off of the levee, where
Yeah.
he comes down. He is fully committed and convinced that I'm a deer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, like, I grunted and snort wheezed at him, and we couldn't even see him. We just knew roundabout where he bedded. So we worked towards this specific tree, and we got up there.
He's bedded on a levee, and the levee's covered with,
Yeah.
chest high weeds with a doe. We circle probably 1,000 yards
Yeah.
to get the wind right, come down that levee. And when you're going down a levee, you can't see the levee, and it looks different when you were looking at the levee. And I remember I was like, we discussed it. I was like, we've got to be
right
we
here.
got to be close to him. And I was like, there was a little gum tree or something that's about 7 or 8 feet tall. And you know how their leaves get really red, little sweet gum or something like that had really red leaves. I was like, that's got to be that red leaf tree. I marked it.
Yeah.
I said, that means he is
Just
20
past
or
it.
30 yards on the other side of that. So I stayed back, remember, and you just went out in the field,
Yeah.
cut cornfield below the levee. You're what, 20 yards out in the field?
Yeah.
And
I grunted and snort wheezed, and dude, you ain't never seen a deer so ticked off in your whole
he
life.
come off that hill. Well, I'm videoing straight down the levee. He's out, and I thought to myself, man, this footage is going to be a bummer, because I could hear the weeds and brush rattling. He was coming off, so I was
Yeah.
like, he's coming, and I can read your body language. You're like, he's going into getting ready to kill mode, and I don't have him in frame when you shoot because I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
But within seconds after he shot, the deer runs at him, comes charging at him,
Oh my.
runs up
Like
to
so
you.
much that I'm like,
You started, you
Yeah.
started like bracing yourself in the video, and all of a sudden they're both in the frame, and then
and then he's
and
like,
you could see the
holy
fletching
crap,
because you
what's-
shot him coming, didn't you? Frontal.
Yeah.
And you can see the fletching buried about that much out of his chest.
Yeah,
And
and
he's
he
like,
locks
he just-
up and is like, huh, and he spins her, like does
Yeah.
a little loop.
He realizes
And
his
looks
heart's
back
not
at
working
me
quite right.
And see,
Yeah.
doesn't it make for great stories?
Oh, it
though?
was awesome,
like
dude.
the same thing doesn't happen twice for you
Yeah.
guys when you're approaching them.
Yeah, I got
See-
cold chills talking about it just now.
It was awesome.
and it was a good, solid. It wasn't a freakazoid,
No,
but he's a fully
140.
mature, heavy horned 8-pointer.
Yeah.
Slick
Mhm.
8. It's never going to be much more.
The
than
things
what
that
he was.
happen on the ground, I mean, are so much better than
It's
the
better.
They
things that
are.
It
happen.
is better.
Like I've had bobcats in my blowdown with me before.
Yeah.
You know, and I had one try
We
to
had that one time too, man. So close that I was like, this is freaky.
I had
Yeah.
one try to slip up on me. It was a dry pond bed behind me early season, and I hear something, and I look behind me, and it's a bobcat trying to sneak up on me.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah, and you just,
and jump on your back.
and just having big bucks in there close
Yeah,
on the ground.
the spot and stalk game for me is bar none the funnest
Mm-hmm.
hunting I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we ought to take a record. How many bucks have we killed that way? We've killed several. I
Yeah.
remember when Witter was filming me, and I killed that one that was, mid 130s.
we've killed better than a dozen.
Mid
From the ground?
130s.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my group, there's 3 of us that hunt from the ground, and I think we've killed probably around 15.
Yeah.
How many have we killed spot and stalk?
I mean, I'm just saying that because that's how many bucks you can
bunch.
kill doing this.
Because the one with Witter was video, and you weren't with me that week of vacation. I don't remember if you
Yeah, I
couldn't
had
get
to
off.
go back to work.
You had to go back to work. And so Witter's videoing for me. We're sitting in the famous old weed patch.
Yeah.
And it was totally, you could kill a deer where we were sitting. They very well, big buck could come right by you. But more than anything, I knew. I told
well,
Whitney.
here's the thing. There were probably 8 guys that hunted this spot.
Yeah.
And
They stayed
every
out
one of them
hunting
stayed
edges.
around the edges.
Yeah.
And we would sit around the edges and we'd watch them. And we'd be like, all right, let's watch until he lays down.
And mark him.
Yep. And they're bedding in the weeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we would
30 acres or
wait
so
until
of
he
weeds.
beds down.
So you got a bunch of other guys watching you guys do some of this? Or
Well, I don't know if they may have watched us at some point or another, but I mean, they're hunting around.
It's kind of one of those, sorry, sucker.
Yeah.
We went after him.
But so. Witter was with me, and I said this morning, I was like, they're bedding with does. I mean, rut is like full in like lockdown type stuff where they're trying to hide with their does. And I was like, we're going to bed a big buck or a good buck that I'll shoot this morning and go after him. He was like, man, I've never done that. I was like, here's what I told him. I'll never forget telling him in the stand. I was like, it only works maybe 5% of the time. I said, but 100% of the time it's fun.
Oh yeah. And that's really what it's about.
So
fun.
It's like 7:30, a little bit after daylight. I look up, I was like, well, there's a deer out in the weeds. And I look, my first glance at him, putting my binocs on him, is him breeding a doe. I was like, oh, good grief. I said, that's a buck breeding a doe right there. He's, I don't know, 250 yards out in the weeds. And we watched him. He had to hoard off. You know how they do. Little bucks, young bucks trying to harass him. He hoards them off for, 30 or 40 minutes. And they lay down. I was like, here's what we're going to do. I was like, we're going to let him lay there. Because sometimes they'll bed and like in 15 minutes, they're up again, I was like, but if they've picked that spot and they're going to stay there an hour, they're probably going to stay there most of the day. Now they may move 15 yards or something. He'll get her up and breed her and they move 10 yards and lay down, if you've ever watched that. So we sat there probably 45 minutes. I think he stood up one time just to look over the top of the weeds and make sure nobody's harassing him. And he went right back down. I've made a mental note. I marked several, little autumn olive, little tree, little cedar, and I was like, you got to get a triangulation of where they're at. Because when you get down,
it's much different.
When you get down and go out there, it's like, I don't know where we're at. All of a sudden everything changed. And we get out there and Witter stays at that autumn olive bush. He's standing there with the camera. And you start second guessing yourself. Because I was like, man, I don't know. I'm looking through the weeds and all that stuff. And I was like, I'll never forget making the decision. I was like, no, I know that's the tree. Like, there's a cedar. Here's this little tree. There's autumn. He is laying. But when you get down and go out there, you have to drop below a hill and over the weeds and all that stuff. He could have got up and left, but I was like, he's there. So I just creeped up to this tree, not the tree that I had marked. I got right next to it and I started raking my grunt call up and down that tree. I had my grunt call in my hand. I was just using it like a stick, raking that tree. And then I grunt, stuck it in my pocket and got ready. Nothing. I was like, then your mind's like, maybe he did leave. I was like, no, I've been down this road before. They can be stubborn and like, they don't want to give their position away, especially if it's a little buck. Cause he's like, if I stand up, so I rake that tree, got a little more violent and grunted, and he snore-wheezed in his bed. Never stood up. I just heard in the bed, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's still here. So I get in position. I look over my shoulder and I told him, I said, if you got to read my language, because you may not see what I'm seeing for the video's sake. I said, when I go into that, I was like, just push record and let her go. And it wasn't, he snore-wheezed and it wasn't, 5 seconds. I seen whoop, his rat come up out of the weeds. I shot him at 11, 12 yards on the ground. He come right over to me. One point, I'll never forget, I'm trying to stay down the weeds. I'm looking over the top of the weeds and my blue eyes and his brown eyes are like synced. I was like, he sees me. And I'm just standing like this, trying to hold still. And he turned and here he comes. And I was looking ahead of him in the weeds. I was like, there's a hole right there. I just creeped her back. And when he stepped into it, and it was over. And that's the best.
Yeah.
And if nobody's ever done that, you have to be not scared to mess it up, I guess. And you're primarily just a ghillie sitting on the ground.
I mean, I go in and I try to figure out what's this guy going to do today. And I try to get within 30 yards one way or another of that,
Yeah.
whether that's circle downwind of the bedding or if it's
the experience is still the same though.
Yeah.
Like
It's,
when you're
it's so
in the,
much different than that. I mean, and there's a lot of differences. Like it feels like you're doing something different and you're learning a whole new thing.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
you don't realize how many does come up draws and get behind you. You know,
Right.
does will love feeding up a draw, and then all of a sudden you look 20 yards away and there's a doe that's came up out of it.
Yeah.
how many does do you end up blowing out?
More than you do from a tree, but not tremendously.
Yeah.
I want to make this statement though. Out of the ones that we have shot, we have never had a mature buck catch us draw. Like mature bucks almost seem oblivious to everything on the ground.
I would go with that.
Like the one I missed the other day is just coming like I've got him on a string, coming right at me. And it's, you know, equipment failure, but it could have been anything. And I mean, he is coming right at me, never cared about anything, nothing. Like they're not looking for things around them.
Yeah.
And you'll notice this quality that deer have. Like if you put a camera out, you'll notice your doe pictures will start dropping, but a lot of times your buck pictures don't. And that's part of that too. Like they're not really looking for differences or new things or something like that. I mean, their basic survival advantages is if you mess me up, I'm not coming back.
So you don't believe in the bump and dump style of hunting?
No.
Have you heard that guy talk about that?
I have, and he is big deer.
Yeah.
I have thought about that style.
Like it's a strategy. They on purpose bump them out of their beds and then set up on it. And they
For them to come back in.
They said
Right.
sometimes they'll kill them that day there.
I'm a low pressure guy. I don't want to push deer off of places. I know the people doing that. I know that. Well, I'll leave that at that. But,
I was going to say, let me go back real quick before we go any further than that, because your style is I want to figure him out. I want to try to get in the place he was. Of course, we're all to some degree doing that.
right.
And I was wanting to, like, so my style of ground hunting is I want to bust him onto, and drive him a mile and a half away to the neighbors or something like
I
that.
ran to one to me at one
Yeah.
point. I mean, the thing is a lot of that's just what, like, I couldn't do the longer distance shooting if I tried. You built my arrows for me. You know how heavy they are. You know how
Yeah.
hard it would be to hit something at 45, 50 yards at an unknown distance and getting it up there and how much drop you're going to have. And
Right. Most of our spot and stock, though, we've shot them 30 and in.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Now, when I late season ground hunt, I try to set up on purpose for a 40 to 50 yard shot.
late season, everything's different. I've got
Yeah.
places I can't even hunt late season because
Yeah.
I will be 300 yards from the woods and they'll see tails bouncing.
Yeah.
We've got places that we only hunt late season too.
Yeah.
I'm so much pickier late season because of the probability that deer will get a year older, that like I try to hunt problemed animals then, things that I've wanted that one to die so badly. I mean, some of them bucks will show up.
That one's a jerk. We're gonna
Yeah.
kill him.
I mean, I've got one 7-pointer right now. When that thing gets to the property, everything else leaves.
Yeah.
And I can't have my 150-inch 8s 3-year-olds leaving because of him.
A bully buck is a good one to take out.
Right.
Because I mean, as soon as you kill that bully, there's something that moves in behind me.
As long as you use an age class type thing for that. Sometimes the bully buck that I have seen people shoot is a 3-year-old that just likes getting up and coming out and roughing them up.
That's the guys though that are just looking for an animal.
And
to
then
kill.
there's so much of that. Like if I wouldn't have shot him, somebody else would have, or who knows where he'd have been next year. And I mean,
I've been that guy. I've been that guy.
But should you shoot a deer like that? Like I want to shoot one that makes me happy. I don't want to shoot one that so someone else didn't get it.
I would have to lie if I said I wasn't that guy at one time. It's like, well, I'm just going to shoot him now. I know he's just a 3. And I really think I was more scratching an itch. That's what I was talking about earlier. Your trigger finger gets itchy and the only way to it seemed like the only way to get it to go away. I was like, I got 2 tags. I'm just going to shoot this one.
The bloodlust.
Yeah. So
that's what it is.
I've hit I don't know if it's a level of maturity in my hunting or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm not going to sit here and say I'll never shoot another 3.5-year-old. But I don't know. I think I told you the other day, I was like, they quit looking big to me.
Yeah.
The last 3 years, it's like they quit looking big. Used to, if they was out to the tips of their ears and maybe long before that, but they just look big. And I was excited to be able to see a buck, and they look big. And anymore, it's like, I had one this morning and I had my compound this morning. And I promise you 5 or 6 years ago, I'd have been like, he's getting burnt, because he was probably 130-ish inch buck, nice deer. And I'm telling you, I'm sure he's a 3.5-year-old buck that in 2 years, and I don't want to be the guy, they need another year. I don't want to be that guy all the time either, but in 2 years, he'd probably be something you'd be like, wowzer, I just shot a bull, that's got big mass.
And wouldn't you rather feel like that, though?
I for sure would.
Right.
For sure.
So I try to do my part to help anybody else, whether it's one of my friends that also hunts the same property or if it's a neighbor kid down the road.
Yeah.
Like,
it's an advantage when it's a guy that hunts the same property, though.
Well, sometimes it's not always. I mean, he can go anywhere,
Yeah.
Like, he can go anywhere. And I mean, especially 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds haven't set up shop yet. They're going everywhere.
Yeah. Right.
There's when you see like the youth group I help with on Wednesday nights, when those kids come in from shotgun season or whatever, and they've got pictures of deer, they're showing everybody. Like, I'd rather put one more of them out there for them than have myself with another one in the basement.
That's a good way to look at it.
I agree with that. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. I just,
if I'm just going to, if it's not going to mean a whole lot to me, I'd rather just be in the woods watching them.
Yeah. I think that's where I've found him. Now, when my recurve's in my hand, I was like, that buck this morning, I was like, he never gave me a recurve shot. So, but I didn't have my recurve, and he didn't give me that. So it didn't matter anyway. But
if I went to,
I might have shot that deer.
If I went to a recurve, 130 would be something I would.
I was like, I probably would have shot that buck this morning if I had my recurve and he got close enough. That's how I was measuring this morning. He come across there following 3 does, and I was like, yeah, I'd probably shoot you with the recurve, you rascal. But
I think it's so interesting that if it's on the ground, it's a different classification. If it's with the recurve, it's a different classification. On what?
For me, on the ground, it's still the same as it would be in a stand or whatever. I don't change anything on that.
I think with a lot of guys, that's not the case. Like,
well, I mean,
if you're going to kill it on the ground,
that it's harder. I'm not saying it's harder on the ground.
Here's what I was getting to, though, is that it's not that the case with a crossbow. As soon as somebody picks up a crossbow, they're not like, well, this is easier, so because it's easier, my standard's going to be higher.
But they're not picking up the crossbow because they are into hunting because of the challenge either.
It's an interesting
They'd probably
dichotomy.
Argue. They'd probably argue with you about that. But
if they wanted to challenge, I mean, and then it'd be fine. Like, it would be fine to try to challenge your way down and maybe start there and then work your way down to a compound or something.
It's interesting, though. Like, Lathan is shooting, he's going from compound to a traditional. Right. There's not many guys that are like, you know what? I'm going to go for a crossbow that shoots 250.
I'm going to slow my crossbow.
I'm going to slow it down and see
vertical bow speeds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They want the one that's ripping.
I want
faster.
One that I can shoot him at a quarter mile.
Yeah. They're extreming it the other way, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if their crossbow comes in slower than it's advertised, they're, if a vertical bow guys comes in slower than what that bow supposedly is supposed to shoot, they're like, I know when you set them up for hunting, they don't shoot as fast. Crossbow guys like, what do we got to do to get this bow up there fast? This thing says it's going to shoot 425. I need it to shoot 425.
Is that the number one question someone asks you when they pick up a bow?
Oh yeah,
one of the number ones.
I would say.
Is it number one?
Not as much in the vertical bow. In the crossbow,
it's still way up there.
It's up there high in the vertical. I'd say it is probably number one in both of them.
Yeah. My number one now is this one fun to shoot? Yeah. I have had fast, and some of them are not fun to shoot.
Yeah. I set up that consequence, and I want you to know it is a joy to shoot that bow.
Is it?
I like it, I think, better than the
sequel?
Flagship.
Really?
I don't know if it's that big brace height.
Yeah.
It is such a joy to shoot. I got my pins all set on it, and then I put my quiver on it this morning, and my peep wasn't exactly right. So I got that right this morning, went out there, and I'd already checked broadheads, and I got perfect flight with points to fixed heads, and I was like, but I didn't check it at 40 and 50, so I'm gonna shoot a broadhead at 40 and 50 and just make sure that it's doing what. Just beautiful flight, sticking it right in the bullseye at 40 yards with broadheads, and I'm like, it is so short and easy to shoot. I think here's what a lot of people don't do that bow does. I sit and thinking about it. I was like, why do I like this bow so much? It's 29 inches. That's short. It's got a big brace height.
Yeah, really big.
And nobody goes that route. They all's like, well, if I got a 20 inch,
they want speed.
Yeah, because that's makes speed.
Yeah.
And that bow's still pretty fast.
Yeah.
With the setup I'm shooting right now. But it's 29 inches with almost an 8-inch brace height.
Mm-hmm.
Which 8-inch brace height on a compound bow is like unheard of.
Right.
That used to be 8 to 10 was the standard. Now it's 5.5 to 6 1/4 is the standard.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it. I was like, most bows don't. It's like the big brace height compensates the short bow.
That's another interesting topic, though, in regards to the ground hunting, because you go minimalist in regards to ground hunting, and you go more of a heavy setup, right?
Right.
When you say minimalist, you mean
you strip everything down. You want basic, like
I want my bow almost naked.
Almost naked.
Yeah.
Yep. And
well, past my broadheads and arrows. I mean, my arrow's probably pretty complex in my broadhead, but
do you use a quiver?
I take my arrows in with a quiver. It usually sits beside me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
like
how you
quiver.
do it as well.
Yeah,
right?
I generally don't rock my quiver. I mean,
you worked on my bow the other day. You know the comparison. So
it's hard for me to remember them.
Is it? You probably see so many.
Only about 40 this week. So
yeah,
I do take a ghost blind with me. I've only killed one deer with it. I mean, that thing seems like
I'm intrigued by the ghost blinds.
Well,
sounds like you need to be, according to what Clint's telling me.
I mean, if you're a turkey hunter, that thing would be a cheat code. Like, there's no way a turkey could figure out that this isn't. And then you're never going to find a blind that disguises you in the way a ghost blind would.
I mean, I've looked at them.
Yeah.
I even years ago thought, I think I said something. I was like, it'd be a great idea just to carry a mirror out there and set it up and pitch it. And then it came out.
I use it more to get to my stuff. Like if I want to glass something, I can do the movement down here behind it.
Yeah.
And I can also get to my bow or goof off with text. I mean, I don't, of course, just play on my phone all day, but if I get a text, I can respond to it.
Yeah, because ground hunting's different. It's like what Fred Bear said. There's several rules, and one of his was just hold still.
Right.
Have you seen the invisible blind? Have you seen that?
Is that the one that goes like it's actually is that commercial you get on Facebook all day right now?
Well,
what's it called?
I don't even think they're using it in regards to hunting yet. Like they're using it for military purposes. But what it is it's basically a piece of plexi that's curved.
And it's like light refraction.
Yes, and because it's curved in the center, what it does is it almost does what the funny, when you go in like the circus or whatever, and they've got those funny houses or whatever, and you get in one and you're real fat. Well, the one that makes you skinny, they are basically bending it further to where you're gone.
So it's clear and you just disappear.
It's clear.
It.
And so would you sit in front of this?
You sit behind it and you can see through it, but they cannot see anything when they look.
With a ghost blind, it reflects like what's in front of you up. So it looks like if you're sitting in this thing in a fescue field, like a green fescue field, it makes it look like the fescue just completely continues by you.
Yes.
So when you look back, you'll see like maybe this sticking up over it.
Well, what's cool about this one though, is I think you could mobile with this one.
You don't think the clear milky would bug them though?
I don't know.
It was
you're talking about something that when
it
developed,
you walk up, it was like developed. They put it over tanks and stuff. They mounted on top of tanks.
Yeah,
and like airplanes can't see them to drop bombs on them.
I know kind of what I think the technology you're talking about now.
I think it would be awesome, like around a stand or something. Like if you incorporated it to hang on stand. I just wonder on the ground if it wouldn't freak them out, just because you can see that there's something there. You just can't see a person behind it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is don't make it make it where it's like you got a floating head.
I understand that, but underneath that,
I think that's what I am, is a floating head.
You are, but you're not moving. That's my thing.
Okay, you're wanting to be mobile.
I want to be mobile.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think you can.
All you could do is get it and try.
See what the ghost blind, the technology they say works.
I reached out to them trying to license it.
Yeah,
and they're like, "No, this is for military purposes."
Well, they say the ghost blind works because it leans slightly forward.
Right.
And it keeps the sun from glaring.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, if they seen an extra sun over here in front of me, that wouldn't work. So
right.
with a lean forward, it keeps the glare
only
off
on
of
the planet Zoltar.
Right.
So you're a floating head?
That's what it looks like out there. Didn't help me any this week, but maybe next.
Or maybe we're just talking heads. What's that mean? The talking heads.
That was a band, wasn't it?
I think so.
Like you guys see a lot of hunters. How many do you see that do much ground hunting?
I don't know hardly anybody. And if
I would say that 10% from earlier applies to ground hunting.
Do they just kind of try it, or is that what they do?
Well, you can't count. Here's the thing: when you throw that in the ground, we're not talking about setting in big blinds on the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a different. That's
old men.
You're on the ground, but it's not the same.
And just to say this, I've only killed one of my deer from a ghost blind. That was Fuzzy, the cactus buck. But
yeah,
I like it. The problem is with the decoy that you mentioned earlier is I've already got my ghillie bag with me here. You know,
tell us about your ghillie suit.
Well, my ghillie suit is a cheaply made one that you can get off the internet. It is not the one that from the commercial brand that you said that you had earlier, which I felt was.
I bought that because of you.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that. Why didn't you call first? Like my friends made fun of me. I would loan that to a buddy and they'd be like, these deer are blowing at me 75 yards away and I can't even see them. Like I bought the brown one.
Yeah.
And it has this.
I like the brown.
I talked to Joe earlier and he said you may as well be sitting under a disco ball. That's how I would put it.
I bought the green one.
Okay, so that may have been your thing, but I just have it El Cheapo that you can buy, and I mean they used to be fairly cheap, but I can kind of fix them and add some jute to them from time to time if they're kind of getting kind of wore down or pulled.
There's one that I really want right now because I'm going to get one and go, and I every time I go to I can't order nothing offline. I just can't. And I mentioned it to Wes the other day about can we get things from Three Rivers? The only place
I basically order his tags for him for Colorado. So.
I'm not a tech guy. It's just not who I am. But it's on Three Rivers, and it is a ghillie. You know the leafy suits, like just the leafy cut suits. It's a leafy suit and a ghillie. It's kind of like a hybrid. Have you seen that?
That's kind of
it's a gleefy.
That's kind of what Mark's was, and there's two different kinds of material.
Yeah, but this one looks better than Mark's. Yeah, it looks good. They've got one that's the brown and it's got some darker colors, undertones in it. And I've just hunted enough to know I was like, I can put that on and I can just walk up and stick my arrows in them, I think.
He told me I was having problems with this thing because of California regulations. They had to ship it with fire retardant. They must be smelling the fire retardant in it.
That's
you
retardant.
Tell them you're hunting with the wind, right?
yeah. I mean, I do that, but I mean, I really don't believe I killed a deer in that, and I tried it for years.
I have never killed one with it. Mine is basically a ball about this big of cockleburs.
Yeah, I remember did loan it to somebody, and that's what they did to it too. And I had to spend a whole hunt in a spot in which I was just kind of observing, but cleaning out the cockleburs.
Do you want to give the name of that guy?
Which one? No. No. I think you would know who he is. I think he's family now.
I'm gonna try to find that suit while we're sitting here. Talk amongst yourselves.
Aaron Denton, ground hunting rocks. but I'm as short as a fresh mowed yard, so disappear pretty easy.
That's another thing you don't realize when you start ground hunting is how short a deer actually is. Like when you're talking about just the little bushes with the little berries, like,
Yeah.
you know, you have to have a
Turkey berries. I always call them
Is that what
turkey
they
berries.
are? I
That's what
don't know
always
what
call
they
them. I don't know
are.
what they are.
But they can get high enough to interfere. Like a deer's only waist high or so.
Yeah.
Like even your big ones. So
yeah, they're not as big as you really.
You know,
Most people only see them laying on the ground up close,
and they do look
after
big,
they're dead.
right?
And they look bigger, taller.
And there's some advantages to ground hunting too. Like, and there's disadvantages to it.
What's the advantage of ground hunting?
You know, you can be anywhere you want to at any time.
That's
like there's no theory I can't test. There's no place I can't be. I've got, I don't know, 75, 100,000 deer stands ready to roll.
Yeah. So
I've hidden in briars.
Do you move in the hunt ever?
I think once you get your ghillie suit on, like I'm so cautious that everything I do is a give and take. Like, you know, I just get to this spot. It's like do I go up there and clear that limb at 20 yards and risk getting 20 yards further in, leaving 20 yards more scent to get that limb? And then I'll be thinking, am I going to hunt here again? If it's like a setup for another hunt, I'll be like, okay, I'll do it, because
that's an interesting conversation. Whenever you're going in, what is your mindset in regards to how far, how close? What's your mindset in regards to if you're obviously trying to push it as close as you can?
Well, that's early season. I've got this thing that I call, like, we're very successful early season. Like, we have killed a lot of big ones in the first week to 10 days of the season. And I have this thing I call the 150-yard rule.
Okay.
You need to understand your property and the deer well enough to get within 150 yards of your target buck, because that's about how much movement at max he's going to give you the first week to 10 days of the season.
I
agree with that.
I agree with
and,
that. That's why people don't get them, because they're setting way too far from
them. They also, you know, a lot of people also just hunt the rut stand still. And, and usually the rut stand is probably the worst place to be early season because of the high doe density, low deer density transitions.
So Dwight Klein said, let me pull it up here. I think ground hunting comes later in your hunting path. The challenge is what gets me. It's very rewarding. And I mean, I agree with that. I think as you develop, as you get older in deer hunting, there's an aspect of it to where you're like, I want more of a challenge. I want to try something different. I want to develop in my skills. And I think that's a developing.
I think it's a developing, but like I said, like I have probably been seen out of tree stands by more big bucks than I have on the ground.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think guys recognize that principle. Like, unless you're actively hunting on the ground, you're not going to realize that a lot of times deer are looking up in trees.
Right.
Like
a big buck doesn't have anything to fear other than you. And they, you know, contrary, like I said, I don't know if it was Lathan or earlier in the podcast, a lot of guys like killing a big buck like they just solved a Rubik's Cube in 3 seconds. And it's not really that. Like, you know, I've heard, you know, them deer won't move with their, whether the wind's hitting them in the butt. I watched one do it. The one I missed did it for 150 yards the other day, and I watched him, and he never even like turned to even attempt to get the wind from not to get me really, but like to get any kind of crosswind or any kind of protection in the wind. They're not thinking about that, especially during the rut. Like a mature buck come October 20th is completely preparing for does. Like people don't understand their level is
they're shifting into it for sure.
They're not there on your property because you've got an unplowed cornfield. They're there on your property because the does are on your property because you got an unplowed cornfield.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I believe if you put 20 does in a pen on 10 acres, put another 10 acres behind it with cover and chisel plowed everything around that for a mile, you would have a doe show up and think those 20 does in that pen are his.
Yeah.
Like that's how much
a buck show up. Yeah.
Right. That's how much they want does that time of year.
Yeah.
What do you think of this one? It's got a good look, don't it?
That does have a good look.
I'm telling you.
Take
it from the master.
Woodland is always the one that I like.
I
got like a hood thing on the back. Yeah, it's got its own.
They're looking at their next Halloween costumes.
Does that have like a see-through thing right there?
I think it's just a hood.
Sheer.
We should have wore these for the podcast. Just all got us one,
but I like that. I like the mixture of the leaves and the color in that one.
That don't look bad.
It's got a collar.
No, the
color.
It's called Woodland, and that is the one that I prefer because you have different options.
I dig it, man. I dig it.
Man, that freaked me out if that was coming at me in the woods.
What's that on Napoleon?
I want that.
But anyhow, yeah. So, well, I haven't been on the ground not once this year yet. So
he's backslidden.
I'm not as dedicated necessarily to it as obviously what you are.
Well, here's the thing, though. Earlier in the day, we were talking, not in preparation for this, but our hunting style has drastically changed in the last few years. In regards to, we used to go in with our climbers. We'd find a spot. We'd, had to be the perfect tree.
I was so stuck on a climber. I'm so glad I've been delivered of that.
Yeah.
I mean, we
went to the run and gun sets.
Right.
And in doing so, one thing that it's done into our heads is we don't go in and get 20 feet up in a tree. We're going in and and this probably is not a wise thing to say on this, but a lot of times we're not even wearing harnesses because we're 8 feet up.
Yeah. I mean, there's several times this year.
What setup are you guys using?
I'm using an XOP.
XOP.
What sticks are you using?
I've just got El Cheapo helium sticks.
And I don't remember what
I don't mind them at all.
And see, my thing on that is why Gillian is an advantage over that is that I think people, like when I mentioned the 150-yard rule earlier, if he's 75, I can get by with probably just sitting down in my bush. Can you set that up if he's 75?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
I think people...
I make no noise with my setup. The only time I feel like I might make more noise if I pick a tree that needs a limb or two cut. I've got to cut a limb off, sometimes that limb cracking or, the sound of the saw. But
I think they're liable to see the big bear climbing the tree too a lot.
Here's what I found though. 6
that.
feet. It's amazing what your vantage point changes. And I like that aspect of it.
Yeah. I'm just not having deer look at me, but with these on the fly hang and hunt type setups, you can pick so much better trees.
Yeah.
Right.
It would resemble like what you said, the ground, it's infinity where you can set,
And those setups are pretty much like you said, like you can pick any tree pretty much.
Any tree.
I can set in little bitty trees, I can set in big. The only issue with big trees is you can't reach around them. They're hard to reach around.
Yeah.
To get your stick.
You're limited by your own arms.
Yeah. But the stand would set it and it'd turn right around and set. I mean, I've set in some little bitty stuff just 6 foot off the ground, but it's one of them oak trees that never drops its leaves.
Yeah.
And I mean, they just walk right up. And the buck he killed last year, when I got to you, I could walk up and I'd say my nose touched his platform. So your feet were
and I
not even 6 feet off the ground.
I killed it at 22 yards, and dude, it felt like it was looking right at me in my soul.
I have put up stands that low in hedge trees. Hedge trees are pretty good for that. You find the big trunk on it, and then all the other stuff coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, the only problem about that is trying to clear any shoot lane whatsoever. There's nothing worse than cutting a hedge tree.
To cut Osage.
Here's what's crazy though. Even though it felt like it was looking right at me, I could tell it did not know where I was at.
It didn't.
It had no idea.
And
dude, I looked like a turd hanging up in that tree.
Yeah. There wasn't no cover on that
None.
tree.
The one I had the failure with the other day, it stopped at 45 and looked towards me. and you could tell it was looking. And I don't know if it heard me try to get my bow or something, but it had no clue.
Yeah.
Like no clue.
Yeah.
Like I don't think any of them's ever had a clue.
I'll tell you something I was thinking about a while ago that I would say might go along with what Dwight Klein said was the maturity thing. One thing, ground hunting, like the style you're doing, where you go to a spot, you stay in that spot till the hunt's over, is it takes more discipline to stay there.
It hurts some. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
Dude,
it challenges my head.
How?
Yes, in the
because
head.
I
You
want
sit
to
there
be
thinking maybe I can go a little further over
yeah,
there.
I'm gonna get up and go
For
over
sure.
there. It's easy because you don't have to take nothing down. You don't have to climb down. You don't have to lower a bow down. You don't have to do nothing. It is easier, or it takes more mental discipline.
I don't find it challenging whatsoever.
I think I would be very prone to be like 20 more yards.
Right.
And then once I got there, I'd be like 20 more.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over
I
here.
can do it.
Or just
Right.
to be like, or just the thought, because it's always like if you're in the brush, you're like, what's out in the field? Well, I'm not in a stand. I could just jump up and go walk
I'll
over and
look.
look out in the field. Yeah, so I mean it.
Do you do that ever?
I remember when I was a kid, I don't think I ever told my dad, but I mean, there's times I'd get out of my stand and go over there and look over the levee and come back and get in it. But
yeah.
not anymore. No, I don't think I've ever moved. I don't know if I should, but I'm pretty confident where I go. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that this is what this deer should be doing today. I'm going to get back here off of this. He should be coming up through here. There's a wind. I know he's bedding in this bedding, and there's a wind here, so he's not going to do any checking of downwind sides of beddings because the wind's blowing out into the field, and I'm just going to get between him and the field. Like, and I, 20 yards closer, 20 yards farther, he's still going to come from that bedding to the food source.
So one thing that, and I want to just pick you guys' brains on this, because we've hunted on the ground enough to where I think that in a deer's head, a lot of times he views you as a deer, and at least the way that we hunt. And there have been times where we've seen them, and we kind of have a strategy in regards to this. Like, if it's low light, they cannot make out what you are. And
If
because of
you
that,
can, I've not even had a decoy, acted like a deer, tried to sound like a deer, and stay bent over, don't take a upright position, and I've walked up to him and shot him wide open. Now it seems, I'll give away a secret. Everybody listening that wants to try this and what you said, I'm not talking hunting in the dark. What you said, really, like them old misty, cloudy days, it works better.
yeah.
Or the last 45 minutes of
Daylight. Right after the sun goes down and you don't have a hard edge on you.
Yeah. It works
it's
better.
crazy.
There's something in their eyes. It does. I've tried it in the full sun bluebird day, find a big buck bedded out in the middle of a cornfield with a doe. And I was like, well, this decoy's worked for me so many times, or acting like a deer has worked for me. And it just don't work.
Yeah.
I read an article one time that said that if you're not too, like, I don't know, I've never looked into it much, but it was in North American Whitetail, and it said that deer are scared of people because we have two legs, and that's the only thing they have to deal with that has two legs.
Well,
I think there's potentially truth in that.
I mean, we've got video of me somewhere shooting a really good buck.
It's on the intro.
Just staying bent over.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an A-way grunt call, and I kept that tube. I stuck it in the corner of my mouth, so the call's down here hooked on me. And I just started trying to move like a buck when he postures. I even held corn stalks.
Yeah, I think you even did some sidewalking.
I did. I don't.
Seriously,
I
yeah.
don't. I don't know that the corn stalks helped, but I grabbed several corn stalks and held them on my head.
Right.
Had my bow under my arm. Stayed. I wasn't on all fours, but I remember my hamstrings and lower back just frying, burning, because I know I can't stand up. He's going to see that upright position and realize that's not a deer.
Here's the thing.
And
he had
postured.
A doe,
he
and
postured.
That doe even did not recognize you.
He postured back and tried to. He's out there pawing the corn.
Yeah.
And mad at me, and I just walked up to him and shot him.
Let me tell you guys a story here. Right. Like this, again, this goes with maybe the topic of the night. They're not that smart, and they are kind of oblivious to things on the ground. But I had a job interview, and it was the first year I hunted with a ghillie suit, and I was teaching at the college and had another job interview. And I'd already killed, it took me like 7 days to kill my first 1/140 with a bow and a ghillie suit. And it was peak rut. It was like, a week from now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I've got to prep for like a 30-minute presentation for this job interview. I've also got to diagram a class out. So I think I'm going to go set on this other setup. I call them between thicket setups, where the buck comes out of one thicket and he wants to go into the other.
Yep.
And we've killed so many like that. And this is, like I said, November 7th-ish, something like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I've got to take my textbook with me. I've got to do it. So I'm sitting there. A couple of fox squirrels start running around. I had no trail cameras in this woods. I had no idea what I was going to see, but I knew that there's usually a good one in here in November.
Yeah.
So about 7:30 hits, and I'm like, well, I got to start working now. So maybe I'll see one. And I got a textbook in my hands. I'm sitting here with my legs out, textbook on me. And I'd had these two fox squirrels chasing each other back and forth through the thicket the whole morning. I got my textbook on me, and I'm diagramming it out, reading, kind of looking around every now and then. Bo sitting over here beside me. I'm looking around. All of a sudden, I hear something behind me. I think that's probably them fox squirrels again. I look over my right shoulder, which is the worst shoulder to look over, by the way. Because then if there's a deer there, you have got to turn, get to your knees. You can't just set up and shoot. Right shoulder's harder than left shoulder, at least if you're right-handed.
Yeah.
But I look over my right shoulder, and I say 6 points on one side. I'm like, this is what my dad always told me not to do, is to goof off. I've got my textbook on my lap. Take my textbook, I close it, put my bow in my hand, reach over to my left, get my bow, and here's the hard part, because I got to get up to my knees. And he's just, I get up to my knees, and he's just still over there 11 yards away with his head up here smelling of honeysuckle. And like, I don't know if he was trying to make a scrape. I get turned on him and pop him, and I made the first year I tried ghillie hunting, I had about 300 inches antler on the ground.
That's
two
awesome.
Deer. I mean, people would say you poach that deer every time. Like that's not how it went down.
Yeah. Well, I need to order a ghillie suit.
All right, guys. So let's wrap it up. Here's how we're going to wrap it up. I want number one. What's your best tip for being on the ground?
Lathan, you go first. For my style,
well, it had to be totally different because it's two different styles.
It is, but still, for the guys that are listening, I think because you guys are two different styles, you're more of an aggressive go after them. You're more of a pick one out, target that buck, and set in his home zone. What is the number one tip for each one of you?
Well, if we go along with my style, mine would probably be that take a morning, and if you want to try it, the tip is you got to know where he's laying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like where your buck's bedding.
Right.
But relative. He's in that area right in there.
Right.
That's where he beds, where he's bedded on by this tree or those trees over there. I've got to know
exactly.
I got to know the tree he's laying next to, or the bush.
You got to visually see him.
Yeah. So I have to hunt in a place. I have to pick a place that sometimes really gets on your nerves, but I have to pick a place that I can see him go down with his doe.
And that's planned out. Like you're like, I just need to get my eyes on him and find out where he lays.
So I don't throw the morning away in the sense I don't just sit in the truck to see that.
Yeah.
I try to pick a spot that I'm like, I could kill him here. I mean, he could chase his doe right by here, but I know I'm going to see him from here.
Yeah.
Now, that could be relative to the place you hunt. You may not have that option if you don't have a place that's
looking over your big field areas is what you're doing.
Yeah. Watching big weed patches,
bedding areas,
milo fields. So places like that where they bed with those.
Every tip is anytime you're on one of these, you've got to convince people to use the wind.
Yeah.
But the number one specifically for ground hunting in my style is you have to pay attention. Like, they are not very tall, as I said earlier, and they are going, like, if you're goofing off and then all of a sudden you get a doe in there, 15 yards and she snuck in from one of them valleys or the weeds.
Sure.
Like, you have got to just go into mosquitoes can bite me mode, which means only your eyes can move.
Yeah.
And you may have to do it for 15, 20, 30 minutes, but that's just what you have to do, especially if you're on a kill hunt where you think you have a high percentage of killing the deer today. You've got to pay attention and pay attention to everything.
So scrolling is out of the book.
Scrolling, well, yeah.
Most people, that's how they pass the time when they're deer hunting.
I am out there to deer hunt.
Yeah.
Like, I do very little of that. I mean, there might be picking it up every 15, 20 minutes to see. I mean,
right.
I was in the woods one time, and Don Higgins actually had sent me a text, and it said, I just passed a 190. And I look up, and there he is, trotting across in front of me after I read it. So, and he wasn't a giant. He was a deer they called the corn hog, and he was like, I don't have like 5 sets of sheds off of him, and I think every one of us messed him up. So,
you guys have a lot of culminated stories in regards to being on the ground. It's a pretty interesting.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Some of the most memorable.
And then people should try it. Like, it is enjoyable. People should try it because if you hunt it a lot to the point of addiction and you're just tired of sitting in a tree, it will liven things back up for you.
Yeah.
Just like, shooting a recurve livens things up for you too in some ways. I mean,
it does. I feel like a kid again when I've got my recurve in my hand.
You look like one.
I feel like one in the sense that every deer that comes by, my little inner child's like, shoot him. And, and I'm like, I'm not going to shoot that one because that's not what I'm after a day. And I've wanted to shoot 2 or 3 does, but the buck hunter in me is like, man, if I shoot her, he could be standing right over there.
Right.
That's always you're officially at the zone right now to where you don't want to sacrifice
right.
it.
So now I'm not going to shoot one probably, and I've had several does like 6 and 7 yards. I was like, man, this would be good practice with my recurve. And I want a couple does for the freezer. And I got a buddy that wants one. So I'm like, but the times that I thought there's no bucks around, I was like, man, I got to be somewhere 40 minutes after dark. I'm not shooting her this evening, And one time I had several close. I was like, dude, it is almost 85 degrees. Let her go. I don't want to have to mess with, a potential spoiled deer. And so it just hadn't lined up. But anyway, but those are the tips. If you're gonna spot and stalk, you got to know right where they're at.
Yeah.
If you're going to still hunt, that's a whole nother nother podcast. I love that too. But
that's another ground hunt that I think gets overlooked a lot of times.
Man, it is amazing what you can do. And if I had that ghillie suit, I can kill deer still hunting, moving through the woods slowly.
I tried it on that. So I don't do it very often, but I tried it on that injured one last year. And you guys had asked me out here how smart I thought deer were one time when I was out here. And I went in there because I knew he was dying. And I had some buddies kind of pressuring that morning. And he kind of disappeared on him. He was on an island with 2 ditches going around both sides that sets up 10 feet higher where he could see everything behind him.
So he's got some intelligence.
I think they get a little smarter once they realize you're chasing them.
Yeah.
Not just a little, they get a lot.
Get pretty weary.
Yeah.
Pretty sharp. But yeah.
You get one free one.
You got any tips? Because most of half of my ground hunts or that have been kills, you've either been there or I've been with you on one.
I would say just be willing to push it. Like, if you're not willing to try, that's where it's at. You've got to be willing to try.
That would marry up to mine. You have to spot and stalk. You have to be willing to be like, I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to bump him. And some people just ain't willing to do that. But
quick question. What percentage of those spot and stalks are successful once you find one?
I would say ours are fairly high.
What
when I say fairly high,
kill.
Well,
get within bow range of him.
I would say kill.
I'd say the kill, it'd have to be around. When we make the decision to go, it's because we think we're going to kill them. But I'd say it still falls like in the 20 to maybe 30%.
Yeah, we've had several that did not work it in our favor.
No, I mean,
and you don't have to count the ones if you're like, he wasn't as big as I thought. I'm just gonna let that.
Well, that
shrinks it a bunch. Yeah,
I've stocked up on a couple that I thought were better, and when I got out there, I was like, "That's not
Oh
not what
yeah.
I wanted."
You've had several
one.
deer.
I decoyed one a couple years ago by myself where I hunted this morning. I just knew he was a shooter. He was out in the open with a doe, and it was evening. I put it on him, and he came right to me. I mean, I had to beat him off with a stick. He was so close, out in the middle of a cut cornfield. But after he got up there, I was like, he's not what I thought he was, and I just let him go. But you have to be willing to mess up.
He never spooked though, did he?
No, he just walked around me and went back to the doe. He just counted me off as like a buck that's like, well, I'm not going to test you. So he went back to the doe. And they eventually worked over towards the corner, and I just stood up and walked back to my vehicle,
Do you have intention of locking horns with one sometime?
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
It would be cool footage. I know that.
I don't want to die, but I think it'd be cool to fight, actually get one so mad that he loses his mind. And
when I was a kid, a guy here from town, he's a great guy. He used to carry me over his shoulders when I'd go out in the woods. And
does he still?
No. Might if I asked him. I'm talking about when I was like 4. My dad wouldn't do it, but this guy had to. He's Bill Naney. You know Bill?
I don't.
He got into it with one time, and I think he needed a bunch of stitches in his hand. There was one that they had shot, and they'd got it backed up and cornered to the riverbank. And I guess it came out of there on him, and it was.
I helped butcher one time. After they killed it, it was wounded. And one of the guys had, I think it was 8 or 10 stitches right here in his thumb.
Yeah, that's where that was at. Yeah.
And he thought, this wasn't that guy, it was a different person. But he thought, oh, it's wounded enough. I'm just going to walk up and grab it. And it didn't work out.
I think they're pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think he didn't realize what he grabbed hold of, and it had him horned and knocked down before he realized what even happened. And it got up, and his boy grabbed a slug gun, and it was deer gun season, and knocked it down like it was leaving. But for some reason, it was in bad enough shape it let him walk up to it. But whatever he did was the motivation. It got up. I don't know if it was going to get away, but he just shot it again, knocked it down. But anyway, we have to watch it. We're going to tell stories all night.
All right.
All right, guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Our wives don't realize this, but this is our opportunity. It really isn't about a podcast. It's really about our opportunity to talk deer hunting.
An excuse.
Like we don't do that all the time.
So if you guys appreciate the fact that we're talking about it, like, share, comment, do all those things, because that puts us in the eyes of more people. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. And until next time, next week, we've got a fishing podcast.
No doubt.
Yep,
we're going to be rut.
Right in the middle of
Right in the
rut.
heart of rut, we're going to talk about the fish.
Yep, we are. So
I'm going to be fishing for big deer.
We've
what
got
kind of
some
test line do I need on that?
Nice stands you can fish around.
We've got some young guys that are coming on, and it'll be interesting.
Well, I like fishing.
Yeah, some youth in the community that are really investing some time into fishing, and I think it'll be interesting. So, Clint, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
It's been interesting, and hopefully you guys have been inspired to go out and set on the ground somewhere. So go low next time.
I got one last question.
All right, one last question.
When you're setting on the ground, do you just set on the ground on your rear end?
Yep, end style.
No kidding.
Hours and hours. I got there at 12:30 the other day.
Oh, dude, my hips would ache.
How bad does it hurt?
I've got bones popping out of my ankles.
That's legit.
That is. I was gonna ask it earlier, and I hate to.
Lathan made a seat one time that was fascinating how good it worked.
Yeah, I need to build another one, especially if I start ground hunting.
It was awesome.
I called it my knee seat because you could be on your knees, but you had a seat because you can't stay on your knees because you just keep your feet go to sleep, your knees being closed all the way tight and all that stuff. I made this seat that stabbed in the ground, had a little platform, had a spear on the bottom, and you just stuck it in the ground. And then it had like a drummer style seat on the top of it. It's about this tall. I did all my measuring to fit me perfect and pitched it forward a little bit. and you just stuck it and you put your knees and you just set.
I want to be able to get away from them.
And you could turn on it and everything.
Like I have had some deer come at me in a fashion in which I wanted to lay down because my hunt would be over if this guy finds me. So sometimes, I mean, I have laid down on him at 2 o'clock when I don't think like it's 4 does coming at me, but I don't think the buck's coming in because it's October 20th. And
do you ever?
I think you could with this.
This
think you
podcast could
right
go
down.
on forever. Do you ever lay down in the corn?
I've laid down in fescue, but not in the corn.
Yeah. We had a really good hunt in the beans where we just laid out in the beans. We knew that this deer was coming out in the beans.
That they were coming out and they were feeding in the beans early season, both sides. And we just laid down like at the fescue and beans spot.
Yeah.
And the fescue, like, in those waterways, big deep.
And for probably 2 hours, I just kicked back and laid down.
There, yeah. And then
because
all of a sudden, there he was.
Dude, we knew within 15 minutes when this deer was going to be in there because it was every night.
Yeah.
Every night, same time, basically. And
the trap door opened. He went into the earth, and my arrow went right through where he was.
Dude.
This is back when I was more aggressive, and I was just sitting full geelied up, headset, everything on, and I was just sitting in the middle of fescue. And this buck here, which is a 2-year-old with a drop tine, it was 2011 because I remember he had a great big giant drop tine and died of EHD in 12, but he still had like a 4-incher this year, and I laid down on him when he was coming out, and I could smell him as he was walking from me to you from me.
Did he smell like tenderloin?
And he smelled awful.
Well, let's go home.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you guys next time here